Hello everyone, today I am talking to you about some of my favorite short novellas, and I think that this is always helpful at the end of the year because a lot of people are trying to meet their reading goals, and if you're behind, it's always nice to have a couple of short books to read. So I thought I would talk about some of my favorite short reads. One of the first books is the book called The Mustache by Emmanuel Carrère. In this book, we have our main character who shaves off his mustache and nobody notices that he's shaved it off. And it's kind of like this absurd existentialist book about the fact that nobody actually cares or notices things. I read this quite a while ago, but I still think about it, and it's one of my favorite books, I think. It's just so interesting and such a fun read. It's really short. My copy has less than 200 pages, and the writing is quite large as well. So I think that this is a really easy, kind of interesting, fun book if you're looking for something kind of existentialist. Next up, we have Earthlings by Sayaka Murata, and I know that this book was super popular when it first came out, and I kind of avoided it because it just didn't seem like something I would really enjoy. It says on the back, like, as the premise, that there is a main character who believes that she is not from Earth, and also she has a cousin that also believes this, and it doesn't give you much on the back, so it was kind of hard for me to decide to read it. But this is an extremely depressing, dark book, which you really don't get from the cover. It is a horrifying book. It really is. Like, this is one of the most horrifying books I've ever read. It really is. So I think that this is definitely on my list. It's definitely worth the read, but just look up trigger warnings before you read it because it's very dark. And my copy has just a little bit over 200 pages. So, and again, like, the writing is quite big, and I think that it's a really easy read as well. Next up, we have The Test by Sylvia Newell, and this book is very short, digestible, and fun. I think it's about 100 pages, yes. So it's very tiny. You can read it all in one sitting. And this is about someone taking a British citizen test, and that is all I'm going to say because if I say anything else, it will spoil the book. But it's just a very fun book, and I think that it's super well written, super fun, and if you're someone that takes citizenship tests, maybe this is also interesting. I don't know, it's kind of bizarre, this book, but it's super fun at the same time, so I definitely recommend this one, and it is very tiny. The next book is Assembly by Natasha Brown, and in this book we have a main character who is Black, and she is kind of struggling a little bit with her life. There's a medical problem that she has. There's also some constraints with her work. And then she is also having a relationship with a white man and is going to meet his family. And there's a bunch of different aspects of her life that this book looks at. It's definitely an introspective kind of book. And then in the end, she's kind of looking at the assembly of what her life is and each of the aspects that are a part of her character, who she is, and whether or not she could maybe change these things. So this is a very interesting book. It's a bit hard to read because of the fact that we have so many different kind of moments, timelines going on, but it is a very short book. I believe it's probably, yeah, it's around 100 pages, and I really enjoyed it, and I had a lot to think about after reading this book. So this is definitely one on my list of favorite novellas. The next book that I want to talk about is Our Wives Under the Sea. I have the physical copy of it. I don't know where it went. But in this book, we have a couple, these two women that are together, and one of them is doing a deep diving mission in the ocean. And then she comes back and things are just not the same as they were before. And then it's kind of the unraveling of their lives. It also had a lot of hype from the horror girlies, and I also really enjoyed it. It's not like my favorite book of all time, but it's still really good. And I think it's definitely worth mentioning because it is a really short book that you could kind of sit through in a couple of readings. And I think that a lot of people are creeped out by this deep sea kind of stuff. So I think that if that's something you're into, and also a relationship unraveling, I think that this book is also something that I would recommend. Okay, now I have my laptop with me because I want to mention some novellas that I am also interested in reading that I have not read yet. So first we have Tantrum, and this is by Moulton Rachel Eve. And in this book, we have a mother who is basically convinced that her child is a monster. And this book didn't get the best reviews, but I think that for me, I'm going to love it. I love a kind of horrifying mother-daughter relationship. I also really enjoyed Night Bitch. So this is definitely one that I am interested in. Next, we have Pocket Knife Kitty. This one has extremely good reviews, but like very few ratings. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it or not, but I don't know. It sounds interesting. It's a horror novella, and it's basically about this woman that is having issues in her life and ends up back in her hometown, and then has like a gruesome transformation, which I'm not sure exactly what that's gonna be. And is she turning into a werewolf? I don't know. But that's one that I'm definitely keeping on my radar, and I'm gonna try and pick up if I can, maybe from the library. So yeah, that one I'm super interested in, and that has a 4.8 on Goodreads, which is really, really good. Next we have Spread Me by Sarah Gailey, which also doesn't have like the best ratings, but I think it's going to be super interesting. And this is like some science experiment thing, where this woman then kind of gets attached to this monster, or whatever you would call it, this organism, I guess. And there is like some type of symbiotic relationship or something that goes on. And obviously the title is very interesting, and so I think it also is a bit bizarre and sexual, I think, with this creature, animal, whatever it is. So yeah, that's definitely on my radar, and I'm a little bit worried about what that book is going to be like, but I think that I will probably enjoy it nonetheless. And then we have Ring Shout, which is all about the KKK if they were legitimate monsters, which is all I need to hear. So that one is one that's super interesting to me, and that is on my to read list, and all of these are definitely below 200 pages. So for me, these books are going to be kind of spread throughout my normal reading because they are so short, and I feel like sometimes after reading a lot of longer books, you want something shorter and something that really just packs a punch, and I feel like that's what novellas do so well. Anyways, that's it for me, and I hope that you enjoyed the video, and yeah, I will be back next week with some more. Bye.